Okay, whenever. Okay, we've just taken a recess from our council meeting, a regular council meeting. We'll come back to that following the public hearing. So I'll just lay out some of the background on this. So this is a zoning and development bylaw number 520, 2017 proposed amendments. Opening and purpose. The public hearing is convened pursuant to section 464 of the Local Government Act to provide the public an opportunity to present input regarding proposed amendments to zoning and development bylaw number 520, 2017. Council has given the first and second readings to the proposed bylaw amendments and directed that this public hearing be held prior to the third reading. The public hearing has been advertised in the Village Update and the Village of Lions Bay Facebook pages on May 15th, 22nd, 29th of 2026. All relevant documents are made available in the public hearing record binder at the front table in the municipal office and online. Legal framework and conduct. The local government requires that any person who believes their property interest is affected by the zoning bylaw amendments, which primarily involve minimum lot size and reference to amenity contribution policy, be given an opportunity to be heard and present their case. Council members must not engage in private communications with any party during the hearing and may only consider material available to all attendees. The public hearing is the opportunity for the public to present views, information, not to debate, negotiate, or ask questions of council or other attendees. Council members are entitled to hold views prior to the hearing, but are expected to consider all public input with an open mind. A hearing procedure. Staff will summarize the proposed amendments and they will read a summary of the written submissions received during the notice period. Staff will call speakers in the order that they appear on the speakers list. After listed speakers, the floor will be open to anyone in attendance wishing to speak in person or online. Speaker protocols. Speakers must state and spell their full name and address for the public record. Comments shall be limited to issues directly related to the proposed bylaw amendments. Each speaker is asked to respect a 5-minute time limit. Everyone may speak once before speaking again, provided new information is presented. There is no opportunity to ask questions or have questions answered by staff or members of the council. They are present only to hear from speakers. The audience is asked to respect each speaker and refrain from interruptions, clapping, cheering, or the such. The chair may conclude the presentation if it's relevant or repetitive. Written submissions, including name and address, must be provided to staff before the close of the hearing, be included in the public hearing record binder. No additional written or verbal submissions from the public may be considered after the hearing closes. Post-hearing considerations. Council may receive staff reports or conduct internal research after the hearing. Absent council members may participate in consideration of the bylaw amendments if they receive a report summarizing the representations made during the hearing. Council may alter aspects of the bylaw amendments before adoption, except changing the use or density. Council members shall not receive any further information from the public in respect of this matter, either in the form of verbal or written representations. Introduction of staff. Okay, I'd like to introduce Crystal Kenna, who will prepare the minutes of the verbal submissions. Crystal. I'd also like to introduce our CAO, Mr. Ross Blackwell, who will provide an overview of the proposed amendments, and the CAO will summarize any written submissions received. Mr. Blackwell.
Actually, that would be Crystal Kenna that does the.
Okay.
And I will, when you're ready, I will provide a summary piece for context.
Okay. Just to finalize here, following Mr. Blackwell's presentation, and speakers will do the final call for speakers. The chair will call 3 times for additional speakers, and then we'll close off the meeting. So with that, I'll pass it over to Mr. Blackwell, our CAO.
Thank you very much. So I'll try to capture it, but the best way to do it is write it down and remember. So if you bear with me, I'll read you sort of a summary of what this is about. Excuse me. So the purpose of the proposed bylaw amendment is to address technical, administrative, and legal issues within the existing RS1 single-family residential zone of the zoning and development bylaw. Currently, the RS1 zone contains two different minimum parcel area standards. The bylaw establishes a base minimum parcel area of 8,000 square meters, while also containing provisions that contemplate parcel sizes as small as 700 square meters where community amenity contributions are provided. Amenity contributions have historically been used by some municipalities in connection with rezoning applications where additional development rights or land value may be created. However, CACs are not a statutory development approval tool under the Local Government Act. Municipalities do not have the authority to require community amenity contributions as a mandatory condition of approval. Rather, they have traditionally functioned as a voluntary and negotiated contributions. Local Government Act provides local governments with specific tools to recover growth-related costs and secure public infrastructure and amenities. These tools operate within a defined legislative framework intended to ensure transparency, consistency, and fairness in land use decision-making. The municipality does not have a community amenity contributions framework. As a result, the current bylaw contains a key reference to a mechanism that is not established within the municipality's regulatory framework and that is not otherwise accessible to applicants involved in an application process regulated by this bylaw. It can be reasonably interpreted that the intended minimum lot size is 700 square meters, and that what is referred to as the 8,000 square meter base density merely acts as an inducement to provide undefined amenities. The proposed amendment would remove references to the community amenity contributions from the RS1 zone and limit the minimum lot size to the existing size of 700 square meters. It is important to note that the amendment does not create new subdivision rights, nor does it remove any of the technical or regulatory requirements that apply to subdivision applications. Subdivision applications would continue to be subject to detailed review respecting servicing, access, geotechnical considerations, environmental constraints, drainage, compliance with municipal bylaws, provincial legislation, and the ultimate approval of the approving officer. Similarly, the existence of a minimum parcel area standard does not determine whether a property can be subdivided. In Lions Bay, subdivision potential is often constrained by topography, I've repeated myself, steep slopes, same thing, environmental considerations, servicing requirements, geotech, and the ability to establish a suitable building envelopes. Accordingly, the proposed amendment is intended to address an internal structural issue within the existing bylaw by removing references to a community amenity contribution mechanism that is not part of the municipality's regulatory framework, and by establishing a single 700 square meter minimum lot size standard within the RS1 zone as is currently contemplated. So with that, when you're ready, I can turn it over to Ms. Kenna, who can read into the record the written submissions.
Okay, Ms. Kenna.
I'm going to start with some summaries of submissions that we've received, and then I've just received one this evening, so that will be April. So to begin, we have Norm Barmeyer, sorry, apologies, received May 23rd. These were all received by email. So Mr. Barmeyer supports a broader discussion about housing flexibility and density in Lions Bay, but believes the proposed amendment establishing a 700 square meter minimum lot size in the RS1 zone is premature and should be deferred until the upcoming official community plan review. Mr. Barmeyer feels that issues such as subdivision, secondary units, infrastructure capacity, parking, septic systems, water demand, and growth-related costs should be considered together with the community rather than a standalone bylaw amendment. Mr. Barmeyer questions the rationale for the 700-meter threshold and suggests that allowing additional secondary residential units such as suites, cottages, or coach houses within existing density and servicing limits may provide more additional housing options with fewer infrastructure impacts. Mr. Barmeyer is asking council to defer bylaw amendment number 663 and address housing flexibility, lot size, infrastructure capacity, and development financing through the comprehensive OCP review process. He also submitted a second letter on the 26th, so I will read that now, or a summary. Mr. Barmeyer points out that if the village is eliminating community amenity contributions, CACs, or subdivisions, it is effectively accepting the additional infrastructure and service demands that come with new residential lots. Therefore, Mr. Barmeyer believes that the village should also provide greater flexibility for existing homeowners to create up to 2 secondary dwelling units such as suites, cottages, laneway houses, or accessory dwellings within existing density, servicing, parking, and safety limits. Mr. Barmeyer contends that secondary units often have fewer visual, environmental, and infrastructure impacts than a subdivision, and that is inconsistent to encourage new lots while maintaining stricter rules on more efficient uses of existing properties. Mr. Barmeyer urges the village to reduce barriers to secondary housing if it is prepared to accept the impact of subdivisions without CACs. May 26th, received by Allison Dudley from 160 Sunset, offers support of the bylaw amendments and has no concerns. May 26th, Val and Stu Morton from 95 Sunset Drive request that council defer the bylaw amendment number 663 until after the OCP review. Also received May 26th from Brian Hedberg, 2 pieces from 65 CB Place. He does not support the proposed amendment to lot size or density in general and proposes larger lot sizes. And finally received May 31st from Penny Nelson, Sunset Drive. Ms. Nelson supports postponing the proposed zoning bylaw amendments until they can be considered as part of the upcoming OCP review, arguing that such significant changes should be evaluated within a broader discussion about the community's vision and natural hazards. Ms. Nelson is opposed to removing community amenity contributions before alternative funding mechanisms are in place, noting that the taxpayer could end up bearing infrastructure costs while developers avoid contributing. Additionally, Ms. Nelson raised concerns about public consultation process, feeling that the key bylaw documents were difficult to find and inconsistently presented, limiting residents' ability to participate meaningfully and transparently in the decision-making process. And so, sorry, my computer is out. I will read the email I received evening from Bruce and Paula McLaughlin, 65 Sweetwater Place. To Mayor and Council, we are concerned about the proposed amendments to zoning and development bylaw 520-217. If the existing bylaw contains provisions permitting reduced lot sizes to a minimum of 700 square meters, it would seem that the only issue is the lack of community amenity contribution policy, wherein a developer provides cash in hand benefits to municipal governments when requesting a rezoning or density increase for new development. What are the other legal and technical deficiencies in the existing bylaw? Specifically, what are the planning and legal concerns of the language in the existing bylaw? The timing of the public hearing along with the bylaw amendment is suspect. The clear cut at the end of Kelvin Grove is an environmental disaster and brings to mind circumstances of the tragic landslide at Botany Creek, December 2024. We totally empathize with Ms. Bartholomew and her very serious concerns relating to the proposed subdivision of the property 2050 Ocean View and the effect of slope instability and potential landfall. And those are all the written submissions that I've received so far.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll call the first and second persons on the speaker list, and Ms. Cannon, you have her speakers list?
Do you have it?
Oh, yeah.
Just call for first.
Okay,
First call.
I'll, first call for speakers. Anyone in the gallery wish to speak? Okay, please take the podium, state your name and address.
I'm Davy Bain, and I live at 335 Bayview Road with my husband Fred. Good evening. I'm here to speak to council and present the input of 61 residents who are asking council to delay zoning bylaw amendments until meaningful community consultation has taken place during the official community plan review process. I'd like to present a copy to council so that it can be entered into the record of this meeting in full. Our request to council is as follows. Dear council, we have taken note of suggested changes to the zoning bylaw and are asking that council not move forward ahead with the amendments at this time. We believe the wise, reasonable, and prudent thing to do is to defer changes until after community consultation has taken place during the official community plan review. There appear to be no valid reasons to rush into the ad hoc amendments now, especially in light of the Danny Creek landslide and the need for careful consideration of how development occurs in hazardous areas. Council has the duty to get it right. Respectfully, the undersigned residents of Lions Bay, which there's 60 million of them. And Crystal, can you make sure that you receive the copy handed to council?
Yeah.
And put it in the public record, please?
Yes, that received.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in the gallery wish to speak before we go online? Okay, Crystal, anyone online wish to speak? Please raise your hand online if you wish to speak.
Again.
Okay, I'll do the second call. Anyone in the gallery wish to speak?
Sorry, can you hear me? I'm trying to raise my hand here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, this is Carmen Leeson at 261 Stewart Road. And I just want to, I say I support postponing these proposed zoning bylaw amendments until the community plan review and public consultation process has been completed. Hearing actually some of the comments, actually I'm going to recap Ross Blackwell's words earlier. He stated about the Canada Day, the more voices the better. So I'd like to put on record that we follow his words, the more voices the better. Listen to the community. And given that the comprehensive OCP review is imminent, again, I would agree with many others. It'd be prudent and transparent to consider any zoning changes within that broader community planning process rather than proceeding with the amendments now. Again, I believe that the residents do deserve a meaningful opportunity to provide input on the future development in our community before significant changes are adopted. And again, I know Ross had mentioned this earlier, but just to highlight that bylaw 663/2026 permanently establishes that 700 meter square as an absolute. It is a uniform baseline minimum lot size for everyone in the RS1 zone, skipping the need for conditional negotiations, which I'm not in support of. And I want this to be recorded in the public record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else online or in the gallery wish to speak before we do second call for speakers? No, okay. Second call, please.
I'm reading this for a concerned citizen that couldn't be at the meeting tonight. We say no to mayor and council. We
Sorry.
say,
Name and address.
Name and address of the concerned citizen.
they don't want to be
Can't do it.
identified.
Sorry, unless they identify themselves, give their address, we can't take submissions. So if you can disclose their name and address, we'll hear it. Otherwise, I'm being advised by our staff that we can't have anonymous representations. Otherwise, it's just not acceptable in the legislation. So
Right. Well, there's nothing offensive in this or anything.
it's a straightforward requirement.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Hi.
anyone else in the gallery or online?
Moral ledger.
Tamara, you've got your
Yes,
hand
hi.
up?
Hi. Thank you so much. My concern is that while the general budget package shows a $1 million paper variance, our actual operational budget, our actual operational ledger shows a severe cash drain.
Sorry, Tamara.
No,
I'm gonna
it's
have to
tied,
interrupt.
it is,
Sorry.
this is tied together. My question and my point is tied together. So we are
Okay, it's
routinely
in relation-
overspending on legal fees, consultants, and staff turnover, real taxpayer money used to fund administrative crises rather than local infrastructure. Now we're seeing a rush to pass amendments to the zoning bylaw number 520, which explicitly removes community amenity contributions or CACs. This creates a dangerous double whammy for Lions Bay taxpayers. While council is outspending its operational budget on lawyers, it is simultaneously stripping away our ability
Tamara,
to
please
collect
stick to
infrastructure
the-
funds
Tamara,
from private
I'm gonna
developers.
ask you politely. I'm gonna ask you politely to stick to the two topics, amenity contributions, okay, and establishment of the minimum lot size.
So this
Okay?
this burden
Otherwise,
falls
you're
back.
going to have to-
It should be deferred. It is an election issue.
Good
Because
enough.
I don't
Anything
believe
else,
that council
Tamara?
can justify removing developer contribution language right now. And
Okay, thank you.
prioritizing rush zoning changes that protect developer profit margins over policies that protect Lions Bay taxpayers from further property tax hikes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else online wish to speak? Okay, we'll do a third call. Anyone, sorry,
Third and final.
third and final call. Anyone in the gallery wish to speak?
Can I take credit for this and put my name to it?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. I'm Deidre Bain again, live at 335 Bayview Road. To Mayor and Council, we say no to zoning changes that increase development potential before water capacity, infrastructure, environmental impacts, emergency access, and public safety have been fully evaluated. We say no to planning decisions made without meaningful community consultation and public understanding of their long-term implications. We say no to increased development potential without updated studies on water supply, slope stability, drainage, wildfire evacuation, and emergency response capacity. We say no to dismissing residents' concerns about hazard risks and cumulative impacts in a geographical constrained mountain community. At the same time, we say yes to transparent governance. We say yes to public access to technical studies and infrastructure planning documents. We say yes to meaningful consultation through the official community plan review process before decisions that could affect the future of Lions Bay. We say yes to responsible evidence-based planning that prioritizes public safety, environmental stewardship, infrastructure capacity, and community resilience. These concerns are not objections to housing or change. They are requests for due diligence, transparency, and responsible governance in a unique mountain community facing real environmental and infrastructure constraints. And I might add that we live at 331 Bayview Road, and when the debris torrent happened, it went right through our property, and it really affected us. Fortunately, there was no damage actually to our house or anything, but it's real to us. So we just want people that live along creeks and stuff to be protected and their considerations taken, be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the gallery wish to speak?
Michael Goldstein, 252 Stewart. I'm new to this, so bear with me. I'm just gonna go through a list of things that I've been thinking, that the community, that the township should consider. as you weigh in whether to move forward with this, variance process. The first is the ALARP risk mandate, which requires the village, it's in our plan to act, to take as low as reasonably practical approach to density, which includes slope hazard. If 700 square meters lot size increases the number of people, assets, or risk area within the village, then it's moving potentially against that mandate. The second is potential incompatibility with the geotechnical risks and the constraints on the village. These are all within our current framework that we have today. It calls for zoning is not just about lot size, but about stability and the clear cutting and concerns that people have expressed should be fully considered in that. The third is the idea of fully considering the servicing requirements of additional density. You know, those are the sort of the high value items that come to mind. The other ones that I've heard today, of course, is consistency with the OCP, our existing plan, which is what would govern this discussion today, right? Because there's not a new plan. By itself, requires that we envisioned specific character density of the village. Character is something that actually goes into our thinking, or the prior bylaws thinking, the one that's in place today. Adding additional density does affect the character. A number of people brought up the premature alteration before our new OCP process is fully realized. So, you know, this idea of just the spot zoning while we're actually in the process of thinking through our OCP is kind of an odd, or potentially maybe not the most consistent path for a community leadership organization to choose. Then there's the cumulative impact concern. So, you know, it's not just one property, it's, you know, what precedent are we setting by allowing another one property at 700 square meters as precedent to how we want to grow the community and the character of the community. So the idea is the variance is a discrepancy. It's not an entitlement, that we do it only because there's a very good reason to, not just because someone wants it. So as long as there's a very good reason to, and it warrants, you know, writing a discrepancy to our policies, so that we can allow this, then we should do it. And if it's not, we should. Environmental degradation, I don't have to repeat that. I think that was loud and clear. The emergency access deficiencies, are those being fully considered as we consider moving forward on a variance? I realize it's just one more property, but then again, it is one more property, right? And then the whole character discussion, you know, how does it change the character of the community? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Anyone else in the gallery wish to speak? Third and final call. Anyone online? Crystal?
Yeah, I'd like to. I can't raise my hand.
Okay.
Sure.
It's Jerry, is it?
Yeah, Jerry Blackwell, 253 Stewart, no relation to Ross. He can disclaim all responsibility. So just a couple things. I've tried to go through the proposed legislation changes to the bylaws. I don't see a copy of the amending bylaw 262 or something like that. Anyways, I can't find a copy. I don't know what you're approving wording wise, but I get the drift. I've gone through the existing bylaws again. Look, in my opinion, most of the bylaws that govern activities in this town, construction, parking, whatever, they're very organic. They grew over time. Yes, they're a mess to figure out. You're constantly going back. They do need consolidation. I was looking forward to the OCP process coming up. It's an excellent opportunity to start looking at some of these things which are very difficult to follow for residents. And I know they're difficult for some of your staff. Gone through the parking fiascos in the past couple of years on Stewart Road, and I know nobody reads or enforces the existing rules. It's obvious. So look, I suggest you wait until you've gone through this plan. Finally, I think it's an opportunity to tighten up the wording. I think you have a lot of conflicting words in here. You don't define lot as to be part of a parcel. Lot and parcel means different things depending on which part of BC government you want. Tax purposes, administrative persons defines. You got to take a look at tightening up the legislation. You rely very much on expert opinions. The approving officer in Chilliwack is going on opinions. I can tell you, and we all know this, if you're relying on a geotech report, a surveyor, 50% of them graduated in the bottom half of the class. I've been there. So stop relying on the so-called experts and let's go back to some of the things that resulted in some of the bylaws that we have at this time. They were organic, they developed over time. The consolidation process will take time, but that's part of the OCP input. Thanks a lot. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much for that, Jerry. Anyone else online? Final call for anyone online or in the gallery? Okay, with that, there's no further speakers. I'd like to thank the attendees for their participation and declare the public hearing closed. So thank you very much for everyone's input. We'll take a little break, 5-minute break, and then we'll go back to our council meeting.